Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I'm doing a review of Girls of Storm and Shadow, the second book in the Girls of Paper and Fire trilogy. I do have a full review of the first book on my channel, so I will be sure to link that in the cards and in the description below. If you're unfamiliar, in book one we follow Lei, who is a member of the lowest caste in her society because she's fully human, whereas the higher tiers are either a human and demon hybrid or are fully demon. Even though Lei is fully human, she does have golden eyes, which catches the attention of someone, and they take her to the palace to be one of the concubines for the Demon King. Obviously, Lei is not happy about this. This was never supposed to happen to her. Literally, someone picked her out just because of her eyes, and that's how she ends up in this predicament. So obviously, in this book, we are picking up with the aftermath of the first book. Ren and Lei are on a journey to form alliances and to continue sparking the rebellion. I can't say too much more at this point without spoilers, but we are introduced to some new and really lovable characters. I did enjoy this, but not as much as the first one. I rated it 3 stars, and this one, even though it didn't bother me in the first book, the romance was a tad annoying and it lowered my rating just a little. For anyone who is interested in reading this book, there is a content warning for scenes of violence, self-harm, and references to sexual abuse and trauma recovery. Even in book one, none of the abuse is actually on page, but the aftermath of it can definitely be felt when the girls are having conversations with each other. And that continues in this book, so just be aware of that if you go into it. So if you have not yet read Girls of Storm and Shadow but would like to, this is your official spoiler warning. Okay, so for once, we are not going to start with the characters. We are going to start with the questions that I had after I read Girls of Paper and Fire, and so far, none of them have been answered. So first, I wanted to know if we would ever see the Demon Queen, because we did find out that she exists, but essentially her job is just to produce an heir, which had not happened yet. Nothing there. Next, I wanted to know if Lei would reunite with her family. Also did not happen yet, although they are safe at the Hanno's palace. I also wanted to know if Lei's mother was actually dead. I kind of feel like maybe the king told her that she was just to fuck with her, and maybe she actually isn't. I'm not really sure, but it was just a question. Still no answers though. And lastly, I wanted to know why Lei's eyes are gold. So I'll talk a little more about that later. But I am under the impression that there's a reason behind it. I don't know if maybe she has some hidden magical powers or something. I'm hoping that we find out in the third book, which we'll also talk about a little later. For the characters, let's start with Lei. I like her, I do, I really do. However, she is the reason that my rating for this was not as high. She was just constantly doing dumb shit. And I get it, she's still a kid, whatever. Being young is still not synonymous with being stupid. I feel like I have to constantly repeat that because that seems to always be the excuse. But anyway, she just spent so much time talking about how pretty Ren was and she's so beautiful it hurts and I love her so much and blah blah. I get it, babe, I get it. But you're on the fucking run right now, okay? Focus. Ren. I still love her. She's still a badass boss bitch, but I'm not loving her character arc. I know that she is basically being trained from the very beginning to do what is needed for the mission, but I also feel like with her birth blessing word being sacrificed, I don't know if she's gonna make it. I don't think she's gonna make it, and I want her to care more about herself. I want her to understand that her life is valuable without sacrifice. And I don't think she sees that right now. And after Hiro's death, I definitely think that Ren will probably at least attempt to do the same thing that he did and give herself to this cause. And I don't love that. So I'm worried she's not gonna make it. Nita and Bo, I love them so much. I love them. And Bo didn't have to die, okay? You didn't have to do it, Natasha. You didn't, but here we are. I think with Nita's grief and possibly being paralyzed now, we're not exactly sure of the extent of her injuries at this point. I wonder how she's gonna handle it. I wonder what role she's gonna play. I really like her as a character though, and I hope she doesn't end up dying too. I thought she was gonna die. right before Maren carried them off, so I'm not sure where her storyline is going, but we shall see. Maren, I don't blame him for any of the shit that he did or said. I don't blame him for slapping the shit out of Ren. I don't blame him for punching Shifu King, because he's right about a lot of shit. I don't think that Bo had to die. He was right about Ren killing Lady Yola. And again, I understand that Ren is trying to stick to the mission, but I mean, it is kind of harsh. And then she's keeping secrets from Lei. The lack of communication, y'all know I hate lack of communication. You know that if you don't tell your partner everything, they're gonna find out eventually and it's gonna cause some trouble. And what do? You decide to not tell them, and then they find out later, and then it's an argument. Now look at the two of you. We could have done without all that, in my opinion. But Maren has been right about everything so far, so he didn't have to turn on him though. And I knew something was up, like something just wasn't right, and then the fact that he's the reason that they got attacked. Okay, well, we'll see how that goes when everybody else finds out what he did. I feel a little indifferent about Shifu Kane and Katai Hano. I think Maren and Lei's worries about Katai are definitely warranted. I think he is seeking power here and willing to sacrifice Ren for it, which is concerning in and of itself. I also don't love that he'd been cheating on Ren's mom this whole time, but I mean, I'm glad that Katai and Kane are together now, I guess. They also should have been honest with Ren about that. Probably would have saved a lot of awkward moments there, but okay. Lova, I did not like her. I didn't like the way that she kept throwing her and Ren's past in Lei's face. Her kissing Ren in front of everyone was like a very clear move of disrespect. And what pissed me off more about that was that Ren didn't stop her. Ren didn't tell her to stop. Ren didn't like interfere in any way, which I also felt was disrespectful. Like, it just felt really weird, really unnecessary. Like, nobody needed that. And good for Lei in calling Lova out because she deserved it, but also like she shouldn't have had to. Like, Ren should have stepped in, Lova should have backed the fuck off. Naja, I mean, good for her, she's loyal, I guess, but okay, I don't know. I don't really care for her. And then the Demon King is still a misogynistic piece of shit, still abusing girls to make himself feel powerful. He has to die at the end of this series. I don't see this going any other way, so I hope he dies. I was excited to see the different POVs that we were getting. We got like a sprinkle of them every here and there, which I was not expecting, which was pretty cool. So we got Naja, which was interesting. She's a fucking psycho. Aoki, this bitch still thinks she's in love with the king. Oh my god. Poor girl. Kenzo, which is interesting. He's supposed to be broken out of prison soon. Mistress Azami, who is on the side of the rebellion. So I'm interested to see where that goes. I was glad to see that Lil was still alive. It seemed like she might have been dead because of her connection to Lei, even though she had nothing to do with everything that happened. So that was interesting. The twins are also still at Paper House. So hopefully, I feel like Aoki's gonna get in the way. I don't know how that's gonna work out. So yeah, we'll see. Even though I didn't like this one as much as the first one, I still enjoyed it, and I will definitely be reading Girls of Fate and Fury. Speaking of which, can we just talk about that cover for a second? First thing I noticed that her eyes are no longer gold, which makes me think that my original prediction might have been right, and maybe she does have some magical ability that we don't know about yet. I don't think that it's supposed to be red, so that would have been the other option. But also the fact that she's holding a dagger kind of confirms that it's Lei. She has sort of become more of a fighter in this book, even though her dagger is enchanted, so, you know, there's that. But I don't know. I feel like something's gonna happen that will change the color of her eyes. I think that maybe she does have some magical ability that we aren't aware of at the moment. We'll see. The king has to die. That is, if he doesn't, I'm gonna be very upset. Very, very upset. But all my other questions still stand as well. So I'll be interested to see what happens in this book. It comes out November 2nd, I believe, and I will be pre-ordering it. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm excited for the end. I think it's gonna be good. I'm hoping maybe the last book will be my favorite. There's a lot at stake here, so we'll see. Let me know if you have read either Girls of Paper and Fire and or Girls of Storm and Shadow, or if they are on your TBR. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.